How often did you go to the Globe?
Probably every week.
Yeah, it's all right, yeah.
Yeah. Stand on the steps and wait.
Yeah.
You know, it's a film suitable for us to see, because we were only kids at the time, weren't we?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was
I
anything.
can't remember whether you...
That was anything.
Yeah, but did he used to... I can't remember whether we had a Saturday afternoon matinee. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
No.
I think it was Friday evening we used to go to the cinema.
Yeah, I know it's Friday evenings, but...
Because Saturday I'll be delivering meat, doing the paper rounds, mowing lawns, or mowing the wreck.
Yeah.
Anything to get money.
I can't remember whether... Because I remember going to a Saturday afternoon matinee, but I don't remember where... Perhaps it was in Hereford when we were on holiday.
Yes, that was it, yeah.
My first experience that I remember was going to see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Michael Douglas and... I can't think what his name was now.
I can't remember the names.
But I became a Michael Douglas fan straight away then. No, it wasn't Michael, it was Kirk Douglas.
Yes, his father.
But I became a fan of the family from then on. But that was, I must have been 7 or 8, so it must have been about 1953, 54.
Yeah.
And Wally Seal was running the cinema.
Yes.
His daughter Jean on the ticket counter.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a family affair?
It was, yes. Yes. I don't know who, obviously I was too young at the time to know who ran it before, because I don't know how many years it had been there. It had been there a long time, hadn't it? Because I think it was there sort of in the pre-war time.
Pre-war time, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, but...
Because Dad said he used to go there before the war.
Before the war, yeah. But, no, it was just a quite... Well, we used to call it the Bug Hutch. You never called it the Globe, it was the Bug Hutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to queue up on the steps outside and wait till it be opened.
Yeah.
But the main treat was after, when we were older, we used to go on our own, after the cinema, you walked home up through the village and called in at the chippy to get a bag of crackling.
Yeah.
That was the main treat, was to go and get your bag of crackling off the chippy. Yeah, definitely.
And a bag of chips was, what, 3 pence, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
3 old pence.
Yeah, yeah.
What films do you remember seeing?
Well, I can remember 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the Dam Busters, and a hell of a lot of films where the film broke.
Yeah.
But I remember the film breaking, but I can't remember what the films were there.
No.
Can you tell me some stories about what happened when the films broke?
Apart from the fact everybody shouted and booed. Jean would have to come in, wouldn't she, and put the lights on.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to sit and wait while poor old Wally was up there trying to mend the film.
And everybody shouting sort of, "Come on, Wally! Why are we waiting?"
But it always seemed to break at a critical moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Never
and then
could.
when it starts up again, there's a great cheer. Everybody sort of...
Yeah.
And what was it like in the weather conditions?
You could hear the rain on the roof. If there was a terrific rainstorm, you just had to put up with the sound effects inside the cinema as well as on the screen, because as I say, you could hear the rain, or if there was thunder, and it was even worse.
Had a corrugated iron roof, didn't it?
Corrugated iron, yeah.
So you're sitting inside like a little cabin, corrugated iron roof. So imagine what the rain's like out.
Yeah.
A heavy rainstorm, you couldn't hear the film, you could just hear the roar of the rain.
And of course, in those days, there was no air conditioning or anything like that, but you were still allowed to smoke. So of course, gradually the cinema would fill up with smoke. And you'd get this haze come down over the screen.
What was it like in the summer?
Oh, it's scorching hot. Yes. It was.
You didn't need to go to the sauna.
No.
You go in there feeling really comfortable, and you come out as a puddle.
Yeah, it was complete opposite, wasn't it? Freezing cold in the winter and then boiling in the summer.
Yeah.
And apart from that, people used to come from all over the peninsula to come to the Cliffe for the cinema. So it used to be quite, it was quite full up. It was never empty or, not in use. But unfortunately, with the way times change, it eventually died.
Can you tell me a bit about your first and last days there?
Well, I'd say the first time, what I remember is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, going down with Mum and Dad.
Yeah.
But I suppose the last film we saw would have been in the late 50s, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember what that one was.
I can't remember now because there's been so many films since.
I can remember the sort of Dad, Derek Green, Uncle Dolly. Well, his proper name is Clarence Walter. They called him Dolly because he looked like a little dolly when he was.
Yeah.
Len.
I can't think what his
I can't think what his surname.
No.
We're decommissioning the cinema. So it's Dad, Derek Green, unbolting the seats and carrying them out, and Sandra and myself on brooms sweeping up and collecting all the coins that have fallen through the seats.
And how did you get the responsibility of decommissioning the cinema?
Well, it was the Village Hall Committee. I don't know how they decided to form it, but they decided that you needed somewhere to hold little functions and that, so they were going to form this Village Hall Committee. And they decided that as the Globe was virtually derelict by then, it could, renovate it and turn it into a little hall. But as they got on stripping it out, they realised there was a lot more work to be done than they thought.
Yeah.
And I believe that was when they decided to sell that plot of land to get the money to build a proper hall further up in the village.
Yeah. I think Dad got involved in the decommissioning of it because he wasn't at the meeting. Right? They had the meeting. We want somebody with a truck to decommission it. Oh, Claude's can get hold of a truck. That's it. Claude can do it. Right, end of meeting. Tell him, but he volunteered later on.
Yeah. But it was just being village life. You just all got on with it, and that was it. You just all, everybody sort of mucked in and did a bit and did what they could.
So can you tell me what it was like when you walk up the steps into it, and can you describe what it was like when you walk in? Was there like a foyer? I'll just go from the start as you can.
Yeah, well, it was only a tiny little foyer, wasn't it? With a little tiny cash desk on the side.
Yeah.
But it was like a proper little cinema, but very miniature.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you go in and you have carpet on the floor, didn't it?
Yes.
So, yes, it had carpets. And the chairs were very comfortable for cinema chairs.
One of Jean's jobs was to walk around with the tray, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, with the ice creams and that, and the chocolates.
Yeah.
So who's Jean then?
That was Wally's daughter, but I can't for the life remember her surname. When I go home, it'll come to me and I'll remember it.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. But she worked in there with her dad for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
She was always there with her dad.
I think the reason it closed was Wally was taken ill, and there was nobody that wanted to take over. What was it?
My phone, I've got it on silent and it's still gone off.
Sorry. That was brilliant. If you could start it again by saying the reason it closed, it's great.
The reason it closed, Wally was taken ill, and he lived in a bungalow down Cliffe Woods, if I remember rightly. As you come through Cliffe Woods, I think it's on the left-hand side somewhere.
I don't remember. Yeah, I think.
He was taken, and there's nobody who was going to take over.
No.
So it just sort of packed up then.
Yeah. Because Jane, although she did all the main, the financial side of that, and she couldn't run the projectors and that, so there was nobody else that could do it.
Or wanted to do it.
Or wanted to, yeah. Because it was a big commitment in, out of a working life to run that every night of the week as well, or Saturdays and Sundays. And, yeah, it was a shame because it sort of partly, well, it was the start of the dying of the village, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Everything started to go after that. I suppose it's progression as things go on.
And then what happened from when it closed?
It just stood derelict for a long time.
Yeah.
It just, I don't think anybody was really interested in it at all, was it? It just stood there. I don't know who actually owned it, whether Wally owned it or whether somebody else actually owned it. I don't know. We weren't old enough to know that sort of thing, were we?
No.
But no, it just sort of stood there going derelict until, say, they decided that perhaps it might be an idea to turn it into a village hall, as it was, standing there doing nothing.
Yeah.
But of course, they wouldn't have been allowed to now because it's right on that corner.
Yeah.
It would have been dangerous for people going in and out anyway. Because I mean, we used to get away with it because there were no cars up and down through the village.
Don't worry about the guy. But I remember Dad had brought I think it was an 8-wheeler he brought home. And they had parked it outside. They carried the seats out and put it on the back of the truck.
That's it, yeah. I don't know where they went though.
No.
No.
So these are the seats that you removed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they took the floor out.
They come in sections. Those 2 of them are carried out in sections.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the ripping the floor up and finding all the money under the floorboards.
Yeah.
Be surprised how many coins you can find in there.
Yeah. So he's sitting there, the coin drops out of his pocket, and
Nobody bothered.
nobody bothered because it's dark and you can't see it. It's got no crack in the floor.
Did we haven't spoken about what happened, what it became. So when it closed down, you said about it, they knocked it down for it to be.
Well, no.
Oh, it wasn't a hall because that was moved somewhere else.
Yeah. It was just knocked down. It was never completely knocked down, was it? We'd ripped all the inside out, and there was just the shell.
Yeah.
And then the next thing we knew was that they'd sold it, and the houses were going to be built there, and the money was going to go towards building the new village hall that was built up in the village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is when we was apprentices in the dockyard. A group of us used to go to the Plaza in Gillingham. So Friday evening they had a XXX rated horror films. And this one particular night there was an Irishman in there that had a few bevies, and he was seeing the funny side. And it was very, very contagious laugh. Everybody was laughing. We don't know what the film was about now, because we came out the sides were splitting. The manager came in to find out what was gone wrong, because he was getting upset because it was a horror film. And we're supposed to be scared rather than laughing at it.
And where was this? What was the Plaza, wasn't it?
It's the Plaza at Gillingham, at the end of Green Street.
Brilliant. Any other stories you remember of the Plaza at all?
Oh, remember going there one night, all sit down, get ready for the film. Pearl and Dean come on, and then it all went blank. We've had a power cut. So they've come around with torches to get everybody out, sort of very apologetic, sort of, we had a power cut. Would you mind leaving the cinema? Sort of, yes, if we can see where we're going.
And do we get our money back?
Yeah. They come in and they take us out row by row. Sort of follow me, sort of carefully, one at a time. They give us the money back as we go out.
What cinema was this?
This was the Ritz in Chatham. My friend arranged that we go down to the Ritz for an all-night viewing of Elvis films, because we were both a bit softy with Elvis. We got down there, drove down in my little Mini, parked up on the hill, and we enjoyed a beautiful evening, or night. Came out in the very early hours of the morning, about 4 or 5 o'clock I think it was, to find that my poor little Mini had got a puncture. And being, as I was ready for my bed by this time, I was then quite upset to find that I'd got to drive all the way back out to Cliffe, but every few miles I'd have to keep stopping to pump the tyre up again. By the time I got to Cliffe, I was absolutely worn out. But it spoilt my excursion to the cinema that night. If it hadn't been for Elvis, I would have been devastated. But no, because it was Elvis, it was all right.
That's good, because I'm a Elvis fan myself.
Oh, brilliant!
That's great. Yeah, I love Elvis. So that's why I thought, got to get that in. Cinema and Elvis, that's
it,
me.
Yeah.
So that's showed all of his films.
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, no, all the ones that were out at that particular time. Yeah, it was for a birthday or an anniversary. So it could have been January time.
Do you know what sort of year, maybe?
Well, I started driving in 75, So it must have been 76, 77, something like that.
Oh, that was the year he died, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it could have been for the anniversary of his death. Yeah, it could have been. Yeah. Yeah, it could well have been for the anniversary, yeah, or actually because he had died.
Because he had died.
It was a memorial, yeah.
Memorial, yeah.
Could have been, yeah, yeah. But no, it was... but actually, the cinema was actually crammed solid. There wasn't a spare seat in there. But you couldn't pre-book like you can these days, you know, it was just queuing up the halfway up Chatham Hill to wait for the doors to open and hope you could get in and get a seat.
Was it like an all-nighter? What time?
Yeah, it started about... Must have been just after sort of 6 o'clock time, 7 o'clock time. And then it went on right through the night until 6 or 7 o'clock next morning, so...
How good is that? They don't do stuff like that.
No.
Oh.
No, you pay your £20 and you get one film if you're
You
lucky.
do, yeah, and charge you 40 quid for popcorn. No, this
It used to be a case that you'd get like, was it the Pearl and Dean first? Then you get the B film.
B film, yeah.
Then you get an
Intermission for your ice cream.
And then you get the main film.
Yeah.
So you had a full cinema experience.
Yeah. One thing that will always remind me of the cinema, my mother and I went to see a film called Summer Place. And there's a very significant theme tune to that song, which they used to play in the cinema, and you went in when you were waiting in your seat for the film to start. They used to play it as like an intro piece. And that song always reminds me of sitting in the cinema with my mum watching Summer Place. And yeah, it was never a very popular film, I don't think. It wasn't a big film.
No.
I did Google it once, and it actually came up on the Google, and could see the bits and see the stars and that. But it's just something, that tune has always stuck in my head, that's the cinema. Something I've just thought of, the Odeon cinema in Rochester was also a theatre. And in the 60s, you had bands like the Rolling Stones and all the pop, latest pop stars all used to come down to the Odeon for the shows down there. And they had some fantastic shows in there, as well as being the cinema.
Did you see it? Did you see them?
I saw the Rolling Stones there. I went with my cousin Arlene to see the Rolling Stones, yeah. But I used to work in LST Studios, which was a photographic place just on the edge of the banks, which was right next to the cinema. And I used to be able to stand in the window and do dusting in the window and see all the groups coming up. Yeah, but it was. Well, we haven't got a theatre like it now. Right, you got the Central Hall in Chatham, but the Odeon was much bigger, and it was 2 stories. So full stories, not just the little balcony bits. So why they ever consented to having that knocked down and flats or whatever it is put there? Because it would have made a fantastic theatre.
Yeah.
Even
what was that, the Ritz, wasn't it?
No, the
Odeon.
Odeon in Rochester.
Rochester, yeah.
On Star Hill.
On Star Hill, yeah. Bottom of Star Hill, yeah.
A friend of mine arranged to meet his girlfriend at Star Hill to go to the Odeon cinema. So he's gone there and he's waiting at the bottom of Star Hill. He's waiting there for about 2 or 3 hours and she didn't turn up. What he didn't realise was she was waiting at the top of Star Hill for a couple of hours. So when they did eventually meet up, it was, why didn't you turn up? I waited for you, big blazing row, and
Missed the film.
completely missed the film that I was going to see.
Yeah.
And I think they didn't bother go out with each other.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you both ever so much.
Yeah,
Really
as long as
appreciate
you've got what you wanted.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. I got more than I bargained for, because not only did we talk about the Globe, we talk about the Plaza, we spoke about the Rochester.
Odeon, yeah.